All right, now for the 450s, third on the night on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna factory racing machine, Jason Anderson. And in second on the Monster Energy Kawasaki, Eli Tomac. And the winner tonight in Seattle on the Red Bull KTM, Marvin Musquin. Jason, throughout the main event, you had some tough battles with both Eli Tomac and Cooper Webb. Can you kind of talk us through those and how difficult it was to race on the track with how deep the ruts were there mid-race?
Yeah, for sure. You know, my heat race was kind of squirrely, so I was like kind of up there, and I was like, you know, just wanted to, you know, do solid laps. And then Marv got by me, and I tried to stick with him, but I still struggled with that track quite a bit. You know, I wasn't really like riding, you know, that pace. I was kind of squirrely a little bit. So whenever those guys got by me, I just kept trying to stick with them. And you know, I'm kind of bummed about it because I want to be able to, you know, race them, you know, pretty good. But, you know, they were going a little bit faster. So, but all in all, you know, being on the podium's cool, and pumped on that, and haven't been up here much this year. So really want to finish out the season strong, and I really want to try and get a win.
Eli, in the main event, there were some different jump options that you started doing, one along the tabletops and then also in that middle rhythm. Was that planned ahead of time, or was that something that happened in the flow of the race that you kind of just picked up on those?
You know, both those sections were always in the back of my head throughout the day. And, you know, it was something that, hey, maybe I could save it in my back pocket, and, you know, ended up really saving me, you know, because off that start I was pretty buried into the back. So, you know, got my act together around, I don't know, lap 2 or 3, and then once I started doing those rhythm lanes, I was just shooting to the front. So, you know, and then once I got up to Cooper there, you know, he was setting, you know, a pretty good pace, and kind of stalled me out a little bit. And then, you know, going up to that double, I tried to go inside there, and, you know, obviously didn't make the pass happen, and then kind of had to stretch it out over the double, and then my front end just went over and went over the bars. So I was very fortunate that the bike wasn't tweaked or anything, and I was still in front of, you know, Dungey at that point, because you know, I was paying attention to that because I never saw him on the board. So got up. Luckily, the bike wasn't tweaked, and just did what I could.
Marvin, on a track like this that was obviously difficult for everyone, how key was it to get out front early and have a clear track on those early laps to kind of set your own pace and find your rhythm?
Yeah, actually, my start wasn't the best, but I was really close to go down in the first corner, and me and Jason were really, I was really close to him, but I was able to get out clean and get into the lead actually in the first lap, so which was awesome. You know, I was leading my heat race, so leading the main was just the same. You know, just another race tonight, and I tried to push, you know, as hard as I could, but not too much, because it was so easy to make mistakes, and those tabletops before the mechanics area, it was getting tough. You know, a lot of wheel spin. You know, a lot of rocks today. You okay?
Yeah.
So I'm really happy. I was able to ride smooth and focus on my lines and on my riding, and I was looking back and trying to, you know, manage to have a good gap, you know, and at one point, you know, the gap was staying the same, you know, with Cooper, and then after it was Jason, and then I could see Eli, so I was just trying to go, you know, the same pace and keep going, and it was, you know, that last lap, you know, I was able to, you know, kind of take it easy and just ride it out to the finish line. So that was it's an awesome feeling, you know. It was such a unique day, you know, having only one practice and, you know, praying for no rain, and so we had a great day, you know. Once again, you know, thanks to Dirtworks, you know, they did a great job for the track, and, you know, giving us you know, the best conditions, and the weather was good.
Dan Lamb, MotoExotics.com. This is for Eli. Eli, before Well, while you were catching Webb, you ran like a 54.0, which I believe is the fastest lap of the night, like a lap and a half faster than anybody else in the main. But then Webb came in on you really, really hot in that corner and stalled you up, and it took you a while to get going. Was that something that just kind of threw your rhythm off, and you just kind of had to regroup?
Yeah, I mean, it did throw my rhythm off, and I didn't want to get into a bad situation, getting into a little scrap that wasn't really necessary. So kind of pulled back a little bit, and then when I did make that run again, that's when I made the mistake. I was lucky that it was a big enough crash to where something could have got tweaked or jacked up, or bike could have been not in a good spot. So fortunate that I was able to get up and go.
Michelle Mendoza, Sports Timeout, Salem Media Group. Eli, this is for you. Ruts and weather and the spill, and yet you really just had a crazy good race. I mean, you were able to get on the podium. I want to talk about attitude. I mean, you had to have some attitude to pull this off.
Yeah, I mean, tracks like this, you can't be scared or holding back at all. When the conditions get tough, you got to be tough yourself. So it was just a never give up attitude, and we made it back to second.
This one's for Eli. You kind of had a gate pretty far outside the box. What was your strategy there, and what happened on the start? It wasn't a great start. It wasn't last, but how did it go for you there?
Yeah, both the starts tonight were, not where we'd like to be. In the heat race, the inside was really pinching up. Everyone was coming together. So wanted to try to avoid that mess, if I could. And the gates were pretty hammered again. So I ended up like 3 outside the doghouse, really just because of what the ruts were outside.
Michael Antonovich with Trans World Motocross. This is for Eli. Over these last few weeks in the main event, you've had the fastest lap time, and almost every time it's been faster even than your practice session where you were the fastest person there. Typically, we think that the track is broken down so much by the end of the night that it's impossible to go that fast or even faster. Is it more a setup thing, or are you able to be in such an intense race flow that you can up that pace?
It's different each weekend. That tonight was the big lines in the rhythm section. Getting a 3 onto the table and then going 2, 3, 3 in the other lane. So it's just different every weekend, and a lot of times you don't get comfortable to the last race of the night. And that's the main.
Scott Yarjo, Moto Now blog. Eli, you've been catching Dungey in the points for the last 5 races now. All of a sudden, you're tied in points now. Is this really in your mind as the race is progressing? Dungey is way back. You had a bad start. What are you thinking? Are you trying to capitalize? Are you thinking about the championship?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we're shooting for right now. So, at the beginning of the race, I honestly thought Dungey was in front of us, and I was so buried that I didn't think it was possible he was behind us, but it sounds like he had a little spill there. So I was kind of in panic mode, and then I got to the front and I didn't see him. So I was like, all right, don't take too many risks. And then a couple laps later, I ended up going over the bars anyway. So I don't know. It wasn't good, and luckily I was able to get up and get going.
Steve Giberson with Vital MX. Marvin, that was quite a celebration afterwards.
I know. I was definitely excited, and I threw my goggle, in the crowd, and then on that little dragon's back, I try to, impress people, and little wheel tap, and I don't know if I hit neutral or something, and I wheel tap, and I was like, oh, this is steep right here on the bottom, I was going super slow, and then I gas it, and I don't know, I hit neutral, maybe I went over the bars, so.
Did you really?
I did. Oh my God, it's so embarrassing, it was bad. So it kind of made me, a little bit mad, even though I won the main, I'm like, man, how is that possible, to do that, so now, I wish I just rolled that thing, but anyway, I'm okay. I kind of hit the bars with my legs, but try to forget about it.
They need a video of you going over the bars and then the thug life.
They got it live.
The thug life for Instagram.
Yeah, when I get up,
Marvin, except for after the race, you rode a relatively smooth track on a really gnarly track, a relatively smooth race on a gnarly track. What were your thoughts on the track? Was it a track that beforehand you were like, this is my kind of track?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I love when it's technical like that. You know, there's so many lines. You know, and I mean, not everybody is following the same line. So tonight, definitely, you had to switch lines. I mean, it was getting really deep out of some of the turns to go double in, and those tabletops too before the mechanics. So you had to look around and try different lines. And you know, good thing I was leading. I was able to do that. You know. When you have someone behind you, it's sometimes tough, you know. But I was pretty happy about my riding. That rhythm section, the first half of the main, I was wondering like, should I go 3-3-3? But I was just like thinking of casing the triple and going over the bars every time, you know. So I'm like, just go double and as quick as you can. So. I don't think I was losing much right there. I was just trying to be really smooth and consistent the whole time. And the whoops, I mean, if you want to call that whoops, like that big rat, it was also really technical and like I said, really easy to make mistakes. And but yeah, I like those tracks.
Jim Hawley, Race Day Live. Last question for Jason Anderson. And then after that, we have open up. We got Chad Reed here and. Who else we got here? Jimmy Dakotas, Cooper Webb. I saw Cooper here. Jason, you talked about you'd like to try to get a win. What can you do to try to get that win? You know, you say you want to get one more win.
Yeah, first of all, I need to be faster, you know. I feel like during the week, I feel like I'm pretty fast, you know, but I need to bring it during the race day. And, I need to keep getting good starts as well because you're not going to get a win or anything like that if you don't get good starts. So I feel like the last two races I put myself in a good position, but, I really haven't been racing up there much this year. You know, the last couple of races I've done, better, but I really want to, need to step up my game. And I feel like we have an off weekend. We're going to ride some outdoors and, just try and bring it in Salt Lake and New York and Vegas. But yeah, I really do want to get a win before the end of the season. So running out of time, but I think we can do it for sure.
All right, guys, thanks.